If you ever feel overwhelmed, the best thing to do is to just take the next good step. To be able to ask, okay, right now, I can't do everything right now. What can I do? Action, taking action is a killer of anxiety. And if you find yourself in the midst of worry, that's probably a good indication that you're not working. Because we realize this, that once you start moving, what happens is, okay, yep, you still have all these things to do, but now because you're taking action, because you're saying, okay, what's the next thing I can do? What you end up doing is the next thing you need to do. Still, being overwhelmed has its enemies, or action has its enemies, because I think a lot of times people struggle with this thing called perfectionism. And the idea behind perfectionism is this. It's not just that I can't do this task. Of course I can do the task, but the question is, can I do it perfectly? I don't want to do it until I can do it perfectly. And in that's one of those things that perfection paralyzes so many people. And so in that case, to be able to say this, I remember reading a book a number of years ago that talked about tech boom. People were inventing these incredible inventions, whether they be apps or actually, hardware for that revolutionized our culture, revolutionized the technology industry, all these kind of things, where you have these engineers and these artists who are creating these amazing gadgets. But what they were doing, I found, was that they were tinkering with them because they wanted, before they released them, they wanted them to be perfect. And so apparently some of these groups adopted this motto that's existed for a long time. The motto is this: done is better than perfect. To get it done, it's better than to make sure that it's perfect and keep tweaking it and never get it done. And don't even take my word for it. Let's take St. Paul's word for it. St. Paul, writing to the community in Philippi, his letter to the Philippians, it's chapter 3. St. Paul even says this. He says, after talking about the Christian life, because so many people, so many Christians, they find themselves like, okay, well, I don't know, I can't pray perfectly, I can't live perfectly, I can't act, I don't speak perfectly, all these kinds of things, so I can't do it. Well, Paul talks all about the great grace that he's striving after, this righteousness with God, this right relationship with God. And then he says these words. He says, it's not that I've already taken hold of it, like that perfect relationship with God, or that I've already attained perfect maturity. St. Paul says, no, listen, I'm going after this right relationship with God, which is an overwhelming thing, isn't it? I'm sure that in your prayer life, in your walk as a Catholic Christian, as a disciple of Jesus, you've been overwhelmed by, what do I need to do? Well, people tell me I need to pray the rosary and liturgy of the hours and go to daily mass and have a holy hour and be really nice to people and serve the poor. It's overwhelming. But I continue my pursuit in the hope that I can possess it. So indeed, just one thing, forgetting what lies behind. Okay, that's the past, it's done. I failed back then. I'm not living back there. I'm learning from it. Forgetting what lies behind, straining forward to what lies ahead, I continue my pursuit toward the goal. St. Paul is basically saying, when life itself, your life with your family, with your friends, with your work, is just overwhelming, take the next good step. Strive forward for the goal. And that striving forward for the goal, it probably looks a lot like this. Okay, what's the next good thing that I need to do? Okay, let's do that. Not perfectly, but just do it as best you can right now. My name is Father Mike Schmitz. God bless.